I'm here with Tony Funnell. Tony, how are you?
Very well, Tony. Yeah, I'm great.
Fantastic. Great to see you again. And I thought we'd have a little look again at some of your photos.
Yeah, well, leaving Southampton, it was hard because I didn't want to go really, but I knew my time was up there really. And a few different clubs come after me, including a local club, Reading came in. But I thought the best move for me at the time was Gillingham, because they were in the third division trying to get promotion up to the second. But then I did find out after I'd signed that Crystal Palace also came in for me. And I was already on my way to Gillingham then. And at the time, Terry Venables was manager of Palace. And I must admit, I would have jumped at the chance to have gone to Crystal Palace. But in the end, they signed Tony Seeley. So,
who you played with as well.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
So I went to Gillingham and I played up front. I played alongside Ken Price and Danny Westwood. And we were three good strikers, the three of us. We did cause a lot of problems to other teams in that division. And we missed out on 1 point of getting promotion that year. So it was very close.
Yeah. What sort of strikers were they, Tony? Were they the same kind of striker as you? Or, I mean, how did you complement each other?
Well, they didn't run the channels like I did. One was a target man. One was a target man. Danny Westwood, he would drop off in the midfield and get the ball, and I'd be looking for the ball through the channels and over the top. So we terrorised teams in that league.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, just missed out. But it's a funny old time because I left Southampton and had a couple of years where they went okay on the pitch. I was still scoring goals, but it just seemed a funny old time for me. I was only at Gillingham for one season, and then the following season, they got out of the blue. They got an offer from Brentford for 55,000, which was 15,000 more than they paid for me. Which was a lot in those days. And I was happy at Gillingham, but Gillingham obviously maybe thought, well, we can make some money here, and we can get a player a lot cheaper as well in the bargain, and balance the books. Maybe, I don't know,
yeah.
But they decided they wanted to take the money, and in the back of my mind, I kept thinking, well, if they're prepared to take the money, and Brentford are prepared to pay that money, it's silly staying at Gillingham. So, in the end, I was quite happy, and I thought I'd go down to London and speak to Brentford. But what was interesting was, I don't know if you heard last week, Sam was talking about how he would have found it difficult dealing with the money side of things because there was no agents then. And I must admit, I did as well. It wasn't easy. But before I went down to London to meet with Brentford, I had to go into the office at Gillingham and see the secretary. And I went in there, and what had happened was, the season before when I signed, I got a signing on fee for joining Gillingham, which they gave me, and they also gave me some bonuses that I would have been due in my 3-year contract. They gave it to me up front so we could buy our first house, put a deposit down on the house. So, I mean, that was all fine. It was great. But when I got into the office at Gillingham, they said, well, Brentford have come in and we've accepted their bid. But before you go down to London, you'll need to pay back 2/3 of the money we gave you last year. And I thought, well, hang on a minute. First of all, I don't want to go. Yeah. Secondly, you gave it to me to put as a deposit down in the house, which I've done. And quickly off my feet, I thought, hang on a minute, here we go. I said, well, to be fair, I said, I am happy here and I don't want to go. So I won't go to London today. I'll just stay here. And then the secretary said, oh, hang on a minute. Let me just go into the other office. And he went in and saw the manager and said, this transfer ain't going to go through unless you say you waive that money. So he come back in the office. He said, oh, we decided that you don't have to repay it. Well, I mean, I didn't have the money to repay anyway because I'd already put the deposit down on the house.
Because when you were at Gillingham, you know, quite a lot of things change in your life, and there's one here, Tony, a little clip in here that you've kept, which is a really lovely one.
That's it. There's all these things that come up, things that I've forgotten about.
Yeah. So there you are there. And tell us a little bit about this. What was this so interesting about this in the paper? I think this is lovely.
Well, it's funny. I did mention it today to my son-in-law. He was around a minute ago. And I said I was looking at the clippings, and there was one. I said, our wedding was on Southern TV.
That's amazing. He must be the only Gillingham player to have enjoyed a society wedding. Look at that. That's lovely, man.
What happened was, we was at, obviously, the Southern TV come to the church, and then at the reception later on in the afternoon, about 5 o'clock, everyone went to the TV to watch the news because it was on the end of the news.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, man. What a lovely memory to be able to have.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Really special one. Really special one.
Yeah.
So then you made the big move, didn't you?
Well, I went down to Brentford and I met Bill Dodgin, the manager. And I became Brentford's record signing. I said, I mean, to be fair, that's something I'd forgot as well. But to be honest, I also didn't think too much about it. It was just the fact that I thought, well, Gillingham are prepared to let me go. Brentford want to sign me. Yeah, I'll move down to Brentford. I didn't sort of look too closely at how they've been playing in the league and what sort of squad they had. I just thought, well, it won't matter because I'll start doing well and we'll sort of, gradually pick up the table. But unfortunately, we didn't do well straight away, and Bill Dodgin got the sack. And then Fred Callahan took over, and he started not playing me. He wanted to play a different system. He wanted to play with a target man, and whereas I wanted the ball over the top and in the channels. Yeah. But in the end, he gave up on the target man because on the very last game of the season, we played Millwall in a local derby, and Brentford had to win to stay up. So he gave up on the target man and brought me back in the team. We won 1-0 and I scored. So I saved his job in the end.
It is. And you've got a few plaudits when you were there as well, Tony. There's Player of the Month there.
This one here was the following season. I mean,
oh, right, okay.
I thought, it might have changed my situation a little bit when I saw that last goal of the season. And when the new season started, I scored a few goals at the start of the season and was Player of the Month. But by the time it came to me being Player of the Month, I think possibly the manager had bought another player. So he didn't really want to play me, even though at the time I was the top goals, one of the top goal scorers.
And the fans recognise that as well by the looks of it, Tony, on the next one.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, what was funny on that picture you've got there, everyone who won the Player of the Month award was given it to on the pitch. You probably can read it in there. It is the truth because there's a story about there. When it comes to me, I was given it on a Monday night, horrible rainy night in the social club at Brentford. Oh. And if you read closely, it even says that the reporters were told that Fred Callahan didn't want me to have it presented on the pitch.
Yeah.
Obviously, because the crowd preferred me. They wanted me to play.
So you got the Player of the Month award, Tony. And then the fans obviously really were enjoying you, and they chanted here, "We want Tony Funnell." What was this one about? Yeah,
well, basically the manager he'd signed a couple of players, new players that he brought in, and he wanted them to bed in the team, so I was put out of it. But when I played at the start of the season, I kept scoring goals. I think I'd scored about 6 or 7 at the beginning of the season. That's why I got Player of the Month. And the new players, they hadn't scored. But I ended up being left out after getting Player of the Month. And the fans weren't happy because the players that came in, they weren't scoring goals. And, the team struggled for a bit.
Oh, man. And then you said to me earlier about a friendly that you played.
Yeah, we did have a friendly that season against Copenhagen, and I went down to watch the game. And then when I got there, one of the players said, "You're playing tonight?" I said, "How come I'm playing? He doesn't want me in the team." He said he does tonight because there's a couple of scouts from America coming over. So I played in the game, scored all 3 goals. See, that was a nightmare for the manager because the crowd seeing me score 3 goals and I'm not playing every week. So the funny thing was I scored the 3 goals. We won the game. And I was given a couple of days off after that. And in those days, you never had mobile phones. It was only a house phone that you had. And I said to Hilary, my wife, I said, "We can't go out." I said, "Scouts have come from America." I said, "I've got 3 goals." I said, "They're bound to be ringing. We're on our way to America." And cut a long story short, we did stay by the phone, but we didn't get a phone call. And when I went down to Brentford on the Friday, Scouts had gone to watch another game in London. They hadn't come to that game.
So even come to yours?
No, so I could have gone to America. Things might have changed. But if I'd gone to America, I probably wouldn't have gone to Bournemouth later on. So it was a good job the Scouts didn't come. That's right.
Yeah, good point. Completely. It sounded like you had a tricky time with that manager at Brentford. Generally speaking, can it be tricky to have that relationship with the manager? And is it tricky when managers change? Because you talked about that earlier as well.
Yeah, I mean, when you look back on it now, I think, well, at the end of the day, he came in, the team had been struggling. We ended up staying up, the season before. And he obviously thought, well, I need to change it. And my way of playing isn't the way the old manager played. And his way of playing wasn't with me running the channels and getting the ball over the top. He wanted to play with a target man and build up. So, I mean, fair enough. He his job's on the line. So, but what was funny, I scored that hat trick on the Wednesday. On the Saturday, I never played.
That's crazy, isn't it? That's crazy.
Yeah. Nice. It's funny when I look back because I scored goals for Gillingham and Brentford, but I never stayed either place very long.
No,
and it wasn't because of me, because I didn't want to go. I never asked for a transfer at Gillingham. I never asked for a transfer at Brentford. Never asked for a transfer anywhere. But
no.
But
do you think it was? So is that because of systems? Is that because of the way that people want to set up and play?
Yeah.
And if they
it could have been that at that very start at Gillingham, why they took the extra 15 grand and thought, well, we're selling. The manager might have thought, well, I fancy playing a different way. You don't know.
Yeah, you never know. Well, I spoke to Kevin Bond, and he was talking about when he let Steve Fletcher go, and he was saying that,
WhatsApp.
Yeah, he wanted to change the way the team were playing because with Fletcher in the team, they were always going to play to Fletcher's strengths. Yeah, it's an interesting thing to think about. It must be tricky as a manager. You want to make your mark. You want to make changes. It's difficult to know what the right change to make is, isn't it?
That's it, yeah. And at the end of the day, his head's on the chopping block, isn't it?
Yeah.
So he's got to get the players he wants.
Because it's his responsibility, I guess so.
Yeah.
And then you fall on your own sword, but at least it is your own sword and not someone else's, I guess.
But to be fair, you don't in like a player's situation like mine, it's not till you look back years later and reflect and you're thinking, well, I know at the time I thought it was an old so-and-so, but it was his job, and he had to do the way, he thought was best. So,
yeah. Well, what can we look forward to next time then, Tony?
Well, next time we'll better news after 2 years of like Gillingham and Brentford, where I scored goals, but things didn't go great. Happier times at Bournemouth on their way.
Fantastic. We look forward to that so much. Tony Funnell, thank you so much for letting us look at your pictures and talking us through them today. It's been great to see you.
Cheers. All the best.
All the best. Okay, everyone. That's another one done for now, but please come back again. We've got more flashbacks coming up soon. Adios.